Okay, we're going to be using the selection tool, the quick selection tool, to cut this ship out. It's right up here. It's the quick selection tool. It's among the other selection tools that we have. Quick selection is probably, if you're going to make selections, it's probably your strongest tool. So check this out. This is a color-based selection, not a shape-based selection. So all we're going to do is start hovering over and selecting everything we want to select. We're going to end up selecting stuff we don't want. That's inevitable with this tool, but for the most part, we want to grab the ship. That circle right there, I can change the size of it by pressing the bracket keys. I can also right-click, and well, not right-click actually, but that's the brush tool. But I can come up here and I can select different sizes, so you can see in the menu. But I just use the bracket keys on my keyboard. So plus is always going to add, and as you can see, I've already selected stuff I don't want to select, and that's okay, because I can come back and fix that later. But I'm selecting everything I can with this tool. It just keeps adding, adding, adding. Now I'm going to start subtracting after I get everything that I want. Alright, so here we go. It's time to start subtracting. Well, you can go over here and you can press the subtract option for this quick selection tool, but I'm not going to bother. I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and that gives me the exact opposite of that. Well, that subtracts. The opposite of adding. Okay, here we go. I'm still making some selections. Even these small little areas, if I hold down the Alt key, I can make a difference here. And this is just so you know, we're going to be digging even deeper in just a minute. There's another window we're going to open up that'll blow your mind. It's very, very cool. Blowing your mind, I'm not sure, but hey. Right now I'm just pressing Alt and subtracting all this stuff. Okay. Feeling a lot of pressure to blow your minds now. We'll see. What's it take to blow your mind? Here we go. Backing up. Now I'm pressing Control Spacebar and Control Spacebar Alt myself, but just Alt and the wheel mouse will zoom you in as well. Whichever way you want to zoom. But that looks like a pretty decent selection. Now let's find out if it is. Here's how I do that. Up here in your options, you will see Select and Mask. Click that and check this out. Now, you might see something different on your screen, but the bottom line is you can jump through all these and see different scenes, different views of your selection. For this one with the overlay, I like this. You can change the color of it. I happen to have it set to green. You're probably seeing red if you're doing this at home. But let me zoom in and let's take a look and see what have I not selected. I'm going to be able to tell. All right. So I see these brushes over here. Quick selection, refine edge, and brush tool. Just leave the brush tool selected. That's probably the easiest way to do this. And if you see something you don't want, like this area here, did I want to see through here? It looked like I was seeing through to the background through here, so I decided to keep it that way. But if I want to subtract it smarter, I can just go like this. This is easier if you have pressure sensitivity, but I'm just going to leave it like this, I think. I don't want to think too much about this. Just taking a look at it, everything looks pretty good. All the edges look kind of rough, though. What can I do about those rough edges? Well, there's some options in here that are pretty cool. This smoothing option is nice. See how that smoothed my edges out a little bit? I think I'll just do that and check around one more time. Oops, let me press Control Z there. Oh, but there it goes. There it goes. Got rid of that. Yes, this is bumpy, but it's going to be relatively small. Oh, look at this whole big section that I missed. Let's fix that. I'll go up here. I'll hit plus, and we'll add this section in. Look at that. Look at all that mistakes. Look at that mistake I made. Oh, almost messed it up. If you don't want to use the brush, you could try the quick selection tool. It's going to behave the exact same way in here. Looks a little bit different visually, but as you can see, it's doing the job. And like I said, this is not going to be a perfect anything. It's just not going to look perfect. Doesn't have to. I just want it to look decent for the most part. You saw my computer slowing down a little bit as I was doing that. That's because I have smooth turned on. Smooth takes up more RAM because it's automatically smoothing whatever I draw. But I'm going to say okay with that. I'm hoping it turns out pretty good and press OK. There we go. It'll have this big beautiful selection. There we have it. Now how do we get this guy out of there is the big question, right? Well, the way you do that is just to, with your selection tool active, right click and do layer via copy. Or you can do you can just press Control J, and that'll take and turn your selection off and give you a copy on another layer. And then you can check and see if this is everything you wanted. That does look like it's cutting through to the background right there, so I'm going to go old school and just use my eraser, pressing E to get my eraser out, and shrink down my brush with the bracket key and just erase this part. This is a soft brush, so it's giving me a soft edge. A hard brush might work a little bit nicer, but I'm not super concerned about it. Let me go across one more time. I want this to look nice. Probably won't matter in the long run, but hey, why not? Okay, great. All right, so the next step would be, how do we cut out some of these other ships? I actually don't really want both ships. They look like they're reflections of one another, and I do not want to use the same method to select these ships. So here's what I'm going to do. These are smaller, and I'm going to pick out a tool that's a little touchy, I'll warn you, but it's an alternative tool. It's called the polygonal lasso tool. Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Just click on that guy and choose it. Get that nice and close, and get ready to use the space bar a lot because you're going to be dragging along like this. So the way it works is we get nice and close and we click where this is all about corners. We click to get started, and then we click where we want to stop right there. See how this works? Make sure that you close this thing up. That's the problem with this tool. You'll see. Click right there. That's 3 clicks. Then work my way all the way up the body of this guy, and then click. I like to stay inside my selection so I don't see the edge around them, so I suggest doing that. Stay inside your selections. And I'm going to go all the way up here to this area right there. Click, click, click. Isn't this cool? Click, and space bar. Click. There'll be some areas up here at the top because I have stepped back through this where you'll be like, I don't like this. How do I get that circle, etc., etc.? Well, don't. Just don't even try. Just go across. We're going to just leave that alone. These ships are going to be slightly different. They're not going to have these things on the top. It just makes life easier, right? Yes, I could be really meticulous and go back and fix this, but nah, let's not. So let's go out here. Great. Just clicking. Now, if you make a mistake, you'll have to do all this over again. That's what I don't like about this tool, so I'm hoping I don't make a mistake. All right, there we go. Click, click. Yep, all I'm doing is clicking. And there we go. Going away all the way back down here, and boom. Done. Okay, so that should be a pretty good selection. If you want to see it, you can go into the selected mask window, but make sure that you have the correct layer selected. You see, this problem is I don't have this selected. Without it selected, without selecting the layer, it doesn't know what you're going to cut out. So be layer aware, which I wasn't for a minute. Sorry about that. I'm going to click selected mask and take a look at this guy. Not looking too bad. If these areas bothered you up here, you could come back up and you could use the eraser to try, not the eraser, but the quick selection to try to get them again. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to press OK. Perfect. I don't know what that window was, but not going to worry about it. Okay, there we go. Done. Got it. And Control J. That's going to give me my other guy. Right here, my other ship. Now, I'm going to use my Move tool and make a copy of this ship. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key. See how I get that double arrow right there? And I'm going to drag across like that. Then I'm going to click the corner to go into transform mode. You won't see the bounding box I do if you don't have, I forget what it's called up here, but if you don't have this guy checked right there. So make sure that's checked. Your computer might look different than me, but this just shows the transformation box around here. I forget the terminology off the top of my head, but regardless, click the corner, boom, like that, or press Control T and right click, then flip horizontal, just like that. Flip horizontal, it'll go the opposite direction. And there you have it. We've got our Imperial ships right here. Check them out. Looking nice, huh? And these will look good in our composite. You can keep these separate or put them together, it's up to you, but they will need saved off as PNGs. So how do you do that? Just go to File, Save As, and choose PNG. A PNG will give you a transparent background. Make sure there is no background on here. You'll be better off. I'm saving this. It doesn't matter where I'm saving it, but you save it somewhere where you can later on place it into your final composite. So just save that off, and we're done cutting out the ships.